Hey everyone, in this video, we'll uncover the most valuable Abraham Lincoln steel penny you should be on the lookout for. We'll break down what makes these Lincoln steel pennies so special. First up, the 1943 Lincoln steel penny without a mint. Mark is one of the most recognizable and historically important coins ever produced in the United States. Struck during the height of World War II. This coin stands apart from all other wheat pennies because it was made from zinc-coated steel instead of the usual copper, even in extra fine condition with some scratches. A 1943 steel penny remains a fascinating collectible, offering a glimpse into a unique moment in American history when copper was urgently needed for wartime supplies. In extra fine condition, most of the design details of this steel cent remain clear and sharp despite the presence of light wear and minor surface marks. And the unusual metallic appearance makes it instantly recognizable to collectors and beginners alike. In 1943, the U.S. Mint produced hundreds of millions of steel cents, and the Philadelphia Mint, which issued the no-mint mark version, struck the majority of them. Although the 1943 steel penny is common in worn condition, finding examples in extra fine condition with only minor scratches is becoming more difficult as steel cents tend to rust, corrode, or lose their original zinc coating over time. Coins preserved with clean surfaces, visible details, and only light scratches are considered better grade examples and are appreciated for retaining both historical value and visual appeal. Even with some marks and imperfections, an extra fine 1943 steel penny remains desirable because it shows the design clearly and presents well in a collection. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's portrait remains well defined, with sharp lines visible around the cheek, jaw, and hair. The inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1943 are all crisp and easy to read. The absence of a mint mark below the date confirms its Philadelphia origin. The light scratches on the surface are typical of steel cents that saw limited circulation before being collected. These marks do not significantly reduce the clarity of the design and are consistent with an extra fine grade, where only light wear from brief circulation is permitted. The steel composition gives the coin a distinctive silvery gray color, setting it apart from the copper pennies that preceded and followed it. The reverse of the coin displays the wheat ears design created by Victor D. Brenner. The words "1 cent" and "United States of America" are bold and legible, framed by two wheat stalks that still show individual grain lines and structure. The motto "E pluribus unum" along the upper rim remains clear, although very slight where may appear on the highest tips of the wheat ears. The scratches on the reverse are minor and typical of circulated steel cents, but do not obscure any major design elements. In extra fine condition, the original zinc coating may still be present, giving the coin a cleaner surface appearance compared to lower grade examples that often suffer from rust or corrosion. In today's market, a 1943 steel penny without a mint mark in extra fine condition with some scratches generally sells for around $1,500, depending on the severity of the marks, the brightness of the original zinc coating, and the overall eye appeal. Coins with sharp details and minimal corrosion tend to sell higher, while those with more obvious scratches or darker surfaces may sell closer to the lower end of the range. Although not rare, the 1943 steel penny remains one of the most popular collectible coins in the United States. Due to its unique composition and wartime origin, it is important not to attempt cleaning a steel penny, especially one in extra fine condition. Cleaning can remove the zinc coating, expose the steel underneath, and create new scratches, all of which reduce the coin's value. Steel cents are particularly sensitive to improper cleaning methods, and even minor contact with harsh materials can damage the surface. Collectors value original surfaces even with light scratches because they reflect the coin's authentic history. The presence of these scratches does not detract from the coin's significance, but instead highlights the coin's age and the journey it has taken through circulation. The historical background of the 1943 penny adds immense interest to this coin. During World War II, copper was urgently needed for ammunition, shell casings, and other essential military equipment. As a result, the U.S. Mint temporarily switched to steel coated with zinc to conserve copper for the war effort. This one-year change created the famous steel penny, a design departure that became a symbol of national sacrifice and wartime resourcefulness. Even decades later, holding a 1943 steel penny connects collectors to that period, representing the lengths to which the nation went to support the war. Collectors also value this coin for educational reasons. The 1943 steel penny is frequently used to teach beginners about minting materials, wartime history, and the importance of composition changes. It also helps new collectors understand how condition affects pricing, since steel pennies tend to rust or discolor easily, making well-preserved examples more desirable. An extra-fine 1943 steel penny with minor scratches offers a good balance of quality and affordability, making it an excellent reference coin for learning about mid-20th century U.S. currency. Next up, the 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny is one of the most commonly collected coins from the World War II era, and it remains an interesting piece of American history even when the coin has damage or scratches. This penny comes from the period when the United States Mint returned to using copper after producing the steel cents in 1943. Because of that, many collectors look at the 1944 penny as the comeback of the classic bronze composition. Even though millions of these coins were produced, people still enjoy examining them closely to understand their condition and potential value in today's market. When a 1944 penny has no mint mark, that means it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which made the largest number of pennies that year. As a result, the Philadelphia version is the most common of all the 1944 varieties. When a coin is described as being in damaged condition, it means that it has more than just normal circulation wear. Damage can include deep scratches, dents, corrosion spots, discoloration, or cleaning marks. Many older pennies found in drawers or old collections show this kind of condition because they were used heavily, stored poorly, or cleaned in ways that hurt their value. A 1944 penny with scratches, scuffs, or dents will always fall into a lower value category, no matter how old it is. Collectors prefer coins that keep their natural surfaces, so any visible damage always reduces price and interest, even though the scratches do not take away the historical importance of the coin. They do affect what someone in the current market would realistically pay, because the 1944 penny was produced in enormous numbers. Even coins in good condition rarely sell for high prices. The Philadelphia Mint struck more than 1 billion copper pennies in 1944. Making it one of the highest mintage years in the entire Lincoln Cent series. As a result of this extremely high production, most 1944 pennies are considered common. And that large supply keeps the market value low unless the coin is an exceptional grade or is a rare error. In ordinary circulated condition, a 1944 penny is worth just a small amount over its face value. When the coin is damaged or scratched, the value becomes even lower because many collectors avoid these pieces unless they are buying in bulk or for educational purposes. In today's coin market, a 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark, found in damaged condition with scratches, generally carries a value ranging from just a few cents to around 10 or 20 cents. If the damage is heavy, the coin may sell only for its copper content. Some sellers price these coins at around 25 cents if the details are still visible, but buyers usually pay very little for coins in poor condition from such a common year. Only coins in extremely high uncirculated grade, or rare varieties like the 1944 steel cent error, sell for large amounts. For a normal 1944 Philadelphia penny with damage, The realistic value remains low, but it still holds interest as a historical object. Collectors who look at a 1944 penny with scratches often evaluate whether the damage is mild or severe. Light scratches or small marks may not ruin the coin completely, but they still lower the price noticeably. Deep scratches, heavy corrosion, or bent edges reduce the value almost entirely. Many people are surprised to learn that cleaning a coin often causes more harm than good. A cleaned 1944 penny can look shiny but still be considered damaged, and it will usually sell for less than a naturally aged coin with normal wear. This is why experts always recommend leaving old coins in their original condition rather than trying to improve their appearance. Next up, the 1943 Lincoln Steel Penny with D Mint. Mark is one of the most distinctive and historically important coins produced during World War II, minted in Denver. This coin stands out not only because of its unique steel composition, but also because it represents the tremendous wartime adjustments made by the United States Mint. In fine condition with some scratches, the coin still retains a clear and recognizable design, although it shows obvious signs of circulation. Even with wear and surface marks, this steel penny remains highly collectible due to its history, its material, and its connection to the wartime economy that shaped American life in the early 1940s. The year 1943 marked the only time the U.S. Mint produced Lincoln cents, made from zinc-coated steel instead of copper, with copper needed urgently for ammunition and military equipment. The Mint temporarily shifted to steel to conserve essential materials. This change created the famous steel penny, an unusual and instantly recognizable coin with a silvery gray appearance, instead of the traditional reddish-brown color of copper wheat cents. The Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of these coins, all bearing the small D Mint mark beneath the date, although common in general. Examples in fine condition that have survived without rust or deep corrosion are increasingly sought after, especially those that still show their original protective zinc coating, despite the presence of scratches and moderate wear. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's portrait is still clear, though noticeably worn. In fine condition, the highest points of his cheek, jawline, and hair show flattening from circulation. The inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1943 remain readable, though the letters may appear slightly softened from wear. The D Mint mark below the date is still visible and crisp enough to easily identify the Denver origin of the coin. The surface shows scratches, which are typical for steel cents because the zinc coating was thin and prone to marking. These scratches do not significantly diminish the collectible value for a coin graded fine, as they are expected signs of handling and genuine circulation. Turning to the reverse, the wheat ears design remains identifiable, though the fine lines inside the wheat stalks show noticeable wear. In fine condition, the overall outlines and shape of the wheat ears remain intact, but the delicate details at the tips and centers are softened. The inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America are bold and easy to read, while the motto E pluribus unum across the upper rim is also clear, though slightly worn. Scratches on the reverse are common, as the fields of steel cents tend to collect marks easily. These surface imperfections reflect the coin's history and circulation and are typical for pieces that have survived more than 80 years without rusting or corroding away. In today's market, a 1943 steel penny in fine condition with some scratches typically sells for around $20,000, depending on the brightness of the surface, the sharpness of the date and mint mark, and the overall eye appeal. Coins that retain more of their original zinc coating often command higher prices, while darker or more heavily scratched examples fall toward the lower end of the range. Although this coin is not rare in this condition, its unique composition and wartime origin continue to make it one of the most popular and widely collected Lincoln cents. Collectors strongly advise against cleaning steel pennies, especially those already in fine condition. Although scratches may tempt some collectors to try removing marks or brighten the surface. Cleaning a steel coin can quickly damage the thin zinc plating and expose the raw steel beneath, which can lead to rapid rusting. Even minor attempts to remove dirt or stains can create new scratches that further reduce the coin's value. In its natural, unaltered state, even with visible marks, the coin maintains authenticity and preserves its historical integrity. The scratches and wear patterns on the 1943D penny help tell the story of its life in circulation during a challenging period in American history. Part of the charm of this steel penny lies in the wartime background behind its creation. In 1943, the United States was fully mobilized for World War II, and copper was an essential material used to produce shell casings, telephone wire, and countless other military supplies. In response to the enormous demand, the U.S. Mint shifted away from copper for 1 year, resulting in the production of the steel cent. This change was temporary, but it left a lasting legacy. The steel penny quickly became a symbol of national sacrifice and ingenuity, reminding Americans of the resourcefulness required during wartime. Even today, holding a 1943D steel penny offers a connection to that era and serves as a visible reminder of the lengths to which the nation went to support the war effort. Collectors also prize this coin for educational reasons. It serves as an excellent example of how composition, minting decisions, and historical events influence coinage. The steel penny illustrates how the U.S. Mint adapted to wartime conditions and how those decisions affect the durability and appearance of coins decades later. A fine condition 1943D penny with scratches shows beginners the real-world effects of circulation and how grades are determined based on wear, detail loss, and surface marks. Next up, the 1950 Lincoln Wheat penny is a familiar and widely collected coin that many people still find in old drawers, boxes of saved change, or inherited family collections. Even though this penny is now more than 7 decades old, it is not considered rare, especially when it comes from the Philadelphia Mint, which used no mint mark under the date. The Philadelphia Mint produced a very large number of these coins in 1950, and because of that, the supply in today's market is still quite high. When someone discovers a 1950 penny in dirty condition with visible scratches, it is normal to wonder whether it may still have some value. Age alone cannot guarantee a high price, but the historical background of the coin, its condition, and current collector demand help determine its real worth. The 1950 penny was part of the classic Wheat penny series, which ran from 1909 through 1958. These coins are known for the portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the 2 wheat stalks on the back. Many collectors who enjoy the history of American coins include the 1950 penny as part of their full Wheat penny set. During the early 1950s, pennies circulated heavily as everyday money, and almost all of them experienced decades of wear. Coins passing through thousands of hands naturally pick up dirt, grime, discoloration, and tiny scratches. Over time, many coins also become stained or darkened from environmental exposure, sitting in humid conditions, or being stored in old containers that were never designed for long-term preservation. When a 1950 penny is found in dirty condition with scratches, collectors classify it as a lower-grade coin. Scratches are considered damage because they cut into the coin's original surface. Even small scratches can be seen as negative since they hurt eye appeal and reduce collector interest. Dirt alone does not automatically destroy a coin's value, but when dirt sits on metal for many years, it often contributes to corrosion or leaves marks that cannot be removed safely. Many people make the mistake of cleaning old coins, thinking it will increase their value. In reality, cleaning almost always lowers value, because it removes natural color and leaves cleaning lines that collectors dislike. A dirty or scratched 1950 penny should be left as it is, even if it appears unattractive. Because the Philadelphia Mint produced more than 300 million 1950 pennies, the supply greatly outweighs demand. This creates a situation where only extremely well-preserved examples, such as bright red uncirculated coins, sell for noticeably higher amounts. In circulated condition, especially when the coin has dirt and scratches, the market value is very low. Collectors can easily find clean, problem-free examples of the 1950 penny for small prices, which means damaged pieces do not attract much interest unless someone simply wants a filler coin for a collection. In today's coin market, a 1950 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark, found in dirty condition with scratches, generally holds a value of just a few cents. Most of these coins sell for around 5 to 10 cents, and in heavily worn or scratched condition, they may only be worth their copper content. Some sellers offer them for 20 to 25 cents, but in reality, collectors rarely pay much for damaged examples from such a common year. Only rare errors or extremely high-grade coins from 1950 can bring higher prices, and those are completely different from a scratched, dirty, circulated coin. Collectors who evaluate coins like the 1950 penny look at the strength of the details, such as Lincoln's hair, beard, and the wheat lines on the reverse. When scratches interrupt these details or when dirt covers parts of the design, the coin automatically falls into the low-value category. Even though this may sound disappointing, it is important to remember that condition is the biggest factor in collectible coin pricing. A coin with heavy wear and damage simply cannot compete with the many nicer examples available on the market. Still, a 1950 penny has historical charm even when it is dirty or scratched. It represents the American post-war era, when coins like this were used every day by millions of people. The wheat penny design remains one of the most loved in U.S. coinage, and even a worn example can spark interest in someone new to collecting. For beginners, a 1950 penny in rough condition can be a good starting point for learning about mint marks, grading, and the history of Lincoln cents. Next up, the 1950 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark is an excellent example of mid-20th century American coinage. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, even in very fine condition with some scratches, this coin remains an important collectible. For enthusiasts who appreciate the history, design, and enduring popularity of the Lincoln cent series, the very fine grade indicates light wear on the highest points of the design, while most of the coin's details are still clear and sharp. Minor scratches across the obverse or reverse slightly affect visual appeal, but they do not compromise the coin's historical significance or its value as part of a complete Philadelphia minted Lincoln series. The Philadelphia Mint produced a substantial number of Lincoln cents in 1950, with an estimated 1.3 billion coins struck that year. While the mintage was high, coins that have survived in very fine condition are sought after by collectors because they retain much of their original detail. In very fine examples, Lincoln's facial features, hair, and coat folds remain distinguishable, while only light wear is visible on the highest points. The date and inscriptions are fully readable, making this coin both functional for study and visually appealing for a collection. The scratches present on the surface reflect typical circulation or handling, but do not prevent the coin from being considered a solid example of its type. In today's market, a 1950 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition with some scratches typically sells for around $1.700, depending on the visibility of the date and overall eye appeal. Coins with minimal scratches or cleaner surfaces may command slightly higher prices, while those with heavier marks may fall toward the lower end of the range. Although modest in financial value, this coin is important for collectors completing a Philadelphia series or those seeking representative examples of post-war Lincoln cents. It is crucial not to attempt cleaning the coin, even to remove minor scratches, as improper cleaning can damage the surface, create new scratches, or remove natural patina, all of which reduce collector value. Collectors generally prefer coins in their original, unaltered state because the wear and surface marks tell the story of the coin's circulation. The scratches on a 1950 penny in very fine condition are part of its history, showing that it has survived decades of handling and exchange while retaining most of its design detail. The historical context of the 1950 penny enhances its appeal. Circulating in the early post-war period, this coin was part of everyday American life during a time of economic growth, suburban expansion, and increased consumer activity. Pennies like this were used for daily purchases, transportation, and savings, making them an essential component of mid-century commerce. The very fine condition suggests that this coin was lightly circulated or preserved carefully, providing collectors with a tangible link to life in the United States during the 1950s. Collectors also value coins like this for educational purposes. A 1950 penny in very fine condition with scratches demonstrates the effects of circulation and handling over time, helping beginners understand how coin grading works and the relationship between condition and value. It also shows the importance of mint marks, allowing collectors to differentiate between Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco issues. Even with minor imperfections, this coin provides clear detail for study, reference, and display, making it both instructive and collectible. Next up, the 1935 Lincoln Wheat penny is a classic mid-1930s coin that many collectors enjoy studying and adding to their collections. Even though it is not considered a rare year, the coin holds historical importance because it was produced during the Great Depression, a time when every penny had real value in daily life. When someone comes across a 1935 penny without a mint mark, that means it was made at the Philadelphia Mint, which struck the largest number of pennies during that time. A piece from 1935 that has survived in fine condition, even with some scratches, still reflects the age and history of this early Lincoln cent era. Understanding its appearance and its value in today's market helps collectors and beginners know what to expect from a coin like this. The fine condition grade means the coin saw regular circulation but still maintains clear details throughout most of the design. On a 1935 penny in fine condition, Lincoln's portrait remains visible with strong outlines, though the highest points of his hair, cheek, and jawline show wear. The wheat ears on the back still show shape, but many of the finer lines inside the stalks are worn down. Fine condition is considered a mid-level circulated grade, better than heavily worn good condition, but not as sharp as very fine or extremely fine grades. For a coin minted nearly 90 years ago, fine condition is fairly common, as millions of these pennies remained in circulation for decades. Scratches, however, affect the coin's value regardless of grade. Even small scratches indicate damage to the surface and make the coin slightly less desirable to collectors who prefer clean, original surfaces. Many scratches on old coins come from everyday handling, being tossed in pockets with other coins, dropped on hard surfaces, or rubbing against metal containers. Some scratches also appear when people attempt to clean the coin, which often leaves fine hairline marks. A 1935 penny with some scratches still holds collector interest, but these surface marks lower the price compared to a piece of the same grade without damage. The Philadelphia Mint produced more than 245 million pennies in 1935, making this date widely available on the market today. Because of the large number made, the 1935 penny is not considered rare, and this affects its value. Collectors often choose higher grade or visually attractive examples, which means lower grade or scratched coins from this year typically sell for modest amounts, while the coin holds sentimental and historical value. Its monetary value is influenced heavily by condition, originality, and demand in the current market. A 1935 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark in fine condition with scratches generally sells for around 15 cents to 50 cents. Some examples may sell for slightly more if the scratches are mild and the overall coin has good detail and eye appeal. If the scratches are deep or severe, the value may drop closer to 10 cents. Well-preserved examples without scratches can sometimes bring higher prices, especially if they have richer color or sharper details. But for a fine-condition coin with visible marks, the value stays in the lower range because the supply of nicer 1935 pennies is still relatively plentiful. Collectors, evaluating a 1935 penny, look closely at the sharpness of Lincoln's features, the clarity of the lettering, and the condition of the wheat ears on the reverse. They also check for any discoloration, corrosion spots, or cleaning signs, all of which affect value. Scratches are one of the most common forms of damage. And while they don't erase the coin's historical importance, they do influence how much someone is willing to pay. A coin in fine condition without scratches would be preferred, but a scratched piece is still acceptable for someone building a circulated set of wheat cents. Next up, the 1941 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark is a noteworthy example of mid-20th century American coinage, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, even in fine condition with some scratches. This coin retains collectible value because it represents both the historical context of its era and the enduring appeal of the Lincoln Cent series. The fine grade indicates that Lincoln's portrait and other design elements are worn but still identifiable, and that while minor scratches and marks may be present, the coin maintains overall integrity. Collectors appreciate these pennies for their combination of accessibility, history, and visual reference to pre-war circulation. The Philadelphia Mint produced a significant number of Lincoln cents in 1941, with an estimated 1.2 billion coins struck. While heavily circulated examples are common, coins in fine condition that have survived with minimal damage are more desirable, as they retain a majority of the original design details. In fine condition, Lincoln's cheek, jawline, and hair show moderate wear, but his overall profile remains clear. The inscriptions "In God We Trust" across the top Liberty on the left and the date 1941 on the right are all legible, allowing collectors to accurately identify the coin. The minor scratches present on the coin reflect decades of handling and circulation, but do not obscure the essential details necessary for study or collection. In today's market, a 1941 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in fine condition with some scratches generally sells for around $1,000, depending on the overall eye appeal, the clarity of the date, and the severity of scratches. Coins with sharper details and minimal surface marks may command slightly higher prices, while those with heavier scratches or more pronounced wear may sell closer to the lower end of the range. Although modest in monetary value, this coin is highly accessible and remains a key addition for collectors. Completing a Philadelphia minted Lincoln Cent series or studying pre-war wheat pennies is important not to attempt cleaning the coin to remove scratches or dirt, as improper cleaning can damage the surface, remove natural patina, and create new scratches, all of which reduce the coin's value. Collectors generally prefer coins in their original, unaltered state because even scratches and wear contribute to the coin's history. The scratches on a 1941 penny reflect decades of circulation, handling, and exchange, giving the coin authenticity and a tangible connection to its era. The historical context of the 1941 penny adds to its appeal. Circulating during the years leading up to America's entry into World War II, this coin played a role in daily life during a period of economic recovery from the Great Depression. Pennies like this were used for groceries, transportation, and everyday transactions, making them a vital part of mid-20th century commerce. The fine condition of this example suggests it was moderately circulated but preserved reasonably well, providing a direct link to life in America during the early 1940s. Collectors also value this coin for educational purposes. A 1941 penny in fine condition with scratches helps illustrate how circulation and handling affect coin surfaces over time. It provides a practical example of grading, showing how wear, detail loss, and surface imperfections influence value. The coin also demonstrates the importance of mint marks, allowing collectors to distinguish Philadelphia issues from those minted in Denver or San Francisco. Even with minor scratches, this coin offers clear design elements for study, reference, and display overall. The 1941 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in fine condition with some scratches is a historically significant and collectible coin. Its current market value generally ranges from 30 cents to $1, reflecting its fine grade, moderate wear, and Philadelphia mintage. Despite scratches, the coin retains essential design features and provides a clear connection to pre-war America and the legacy of Abraham Lincoln on U.S. currency. Even imperfect examples, like this one, continue to be appreciated for their historical, educational, and collectible significance, making them a meaningful addition to any Lincoln wheat penny collection. First up, the 1909 Lincoln wheat penny is one of the most important and historical coins ever produced by the United States Mint, and collectors around the world still search for it with great excitement. This coin marks the very first year that Abraham Lincoln's portrait appeared on the United States 1-cent piece, replacing the earlier Indian head design. Because of its historical importance and age, even a simple 1909 penny without a mint mark can attract collectors, especially when the coin has been preserved in extra fine condition. When someone holds a 1909 Lincoln wheat penny, they are holding a piece of American history that has survived more than a century. In this script, we will explore the story of this coin, its background, the meaning of extra fine condition, and its realistic market value today, so viewers clearly understand what this coin may be. Worth in the current collectible coin market, the 1909 penny was introduced to honor Abraham Lincoln on the 100-year anniversary of his birth. This made it the first United States coin to feature the portrait of a real historical person. And this change created tremendous excitement among the public and collectors at the time. Millions of these coins were produced by the Philadelphia Mint, and these are the ones that have no mint mark under the date. Because the Philadelphia Mint produced the largest quantity of the 1909 pennies, the no mint mark version is more common than the rare 1909S or the 1909S VDB penny, which can be extremely valuable. Still, even the regular Philadelphia coin has collectible interest, especially in higher grades, when a coin is described as being in extra fine condition. That means it has light wear but still retains sharp detail and clear design elements. On a 1909 wheat penny in extra fine grade, you should still see most of the fine lines in Lincoln's beard, clear separation in his hair, and strong lettering around the rim. The two wheat stalks on the back of the coin should remain well defined, with only slight wear on the very highest points. A coin from 1909 that has survived in this level of preservation is impressive, considering how many pennies from this period were used heavily in circulation for decades before being set aside. Even though the 1909 no mint marked penny is not considered rare, its value increases significantly when the coin is in higher grades like extra fine, in the average circulated condition. The coin might be worth only a few dollars, but collectors usually pay more for coins that show strong details and minimal wear. In today's market, a 1909 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in extra fine condition generally falls into a value range of around $5 to $50, depending on eye appeal, color, surface condition, and whether the coin has any marks or scratches that reduce its desirability. Some especially attractive or premium examples may sell for slightly more, but buyers should not expect extremely high prices unless the coin is uncirculated or has a rare, Variety. It is also important to understand that many people confuse the regular 1909 Philadelphia penny with the rare VDB variety or the rare San Francisco Mint version. The VDB letters represent the initials of the coin's designer, Victor David Brenner, and these initials appear at the bottom of the reverse on the earliest 1909 coins. The rarest combination is the 1909 SVDB penny, which can be worth thousands. But the regular 1909 Philadelphia penny, without the mint mark and without the VDB initials, is far more common. For this reason, its value remains more modest. But it is still a very desirable coin for collectors of early Lincoln cents, for anyone who owns a 1909 penny and wants to know its value. The first step is to examine the mint mark area. If there is no letter under the date, then it is the Philadelphia version. Next, examine the condition carefully. Strong details, clean surfaces, and even brown or red-brown color all increase value. If the coin shows heavy wear or scratches, the price will be lower. If the details are sharp and the coin truly qualifies as extra fine, then it sits comfortably in the higher end of the normal value range. Next up, the 1958 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark is one of the final examples of the Wheat Ear series. Produced at the Philadelphia Mint just before the Lincoln Memorial reverse replaced the wheat design in 1959, even in extra fine condition with some scratches. This coin remains a valuable collectible for numismatists because it captures the closing chapter of a classic and long-running coinage design. The extra fine grade indicates that most of the coin's original details are still sharp and well preserved, with only light wear on the highest points. Minor scratches and surface imperfections are present, but do not significantly diminish its appeal or historical significance. In 1958, the Philadelphia Mint produced a substantial number of Lincoln cents, striking approximately 1.3 billion coins. While these coins are relatively common, surviving examples in extra fine condition are more desirable because they retain the majority of their original design elements. On an extra fine coin, Lincoln's facial features, hair, and coat folds remain sharp, and the date and inscriptions are clear and easy to read. The scratches on the surface are typical for a coin that has circulated lightly and been handled over time, and they do not interfere with the overall clarity or collectible value of the coin. In today's market, a 1958 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark in extra fine condition with some scratches generally sells for around $100 to $200, depending on the overall eye appeal, surface brightness, and clarity of the date. Coins with fewer scratches or sharper detail may command higher prices, while those with more noticeable surface marks may fall toward the lower end of this range, although its monetary value is modest. This coin remains important for collectors completing a Philadelphia series or studying the last years of the wheat penny design. It is important not to attempt cleaning the coin, even to remove minor scratches, as improper cleaning can damage the surface, remove natural patina, and create additional marks that reduce collector value. Collectors generally prefer coins in their original, unaltered condition, because the light scratches and wear provide a record of circulation and historical authenticity. The scratches on this 1958 penny reflect decades of handling, exchange, and preservation, adding character and a tangible connection to its time period. The historical context of the 1958 penny adds depth to its appeal. Circulating during the late 1950s, this coin was part of everyday American life in a period of post-war growth, increased consumer spending, and expanding suburban communities. Pennies like this one were used for groceries, transportation, and savings, making them an essential part of daily commerce. The extra fine condition suggests that it was lightly circulated or carefully preserved, allowing collectors to see the coin's design in near original detail and providing a direct link to life in the United States during the final years of the wheat penny. Era collectors also find educational value in coins like this. A 1958 penny in extra fine condition with minor scratches demonstrates how coins circulate, how wear is assessed in grading, and how minor surface imperfections affect market value. The coin also illustrates the importance of mint marks and how Philadelphia coins differ from Denver and San Francisco issues. Even with scratches, this coin allows collectors to study Lincoln's portrait, the wheat ear design, and mid-20th century minting practices, making it both instructive and collectible overall. The 1958 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in extra fine condition with some scratches is a historically significant and collectible coin. Its current market value generally ranges from $100 to $200, reflecting its extra fine grade, minor wear, and Philadelphia mintage. Despite scratches, the coin retains all essential design features, connecting collectors to the final chapter of the wheat penny era and the plus enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln on U.S. currency. Even imperfect examples, like this one, continue to be valued for their historical, educational, and collectible significance, making them a meaningful addition to any comprehensive Lincoln wheat penny collection. Next up, the 1951 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny is one of those interesting mid-century coins that collectors love because it represents a time in American history when these pennies were everywhere in circulation. Yet today, many people forget that these older wheat cents can still carry real numismatic value. Even though this coin is not considered rare like the early 1909 to 1920 pennies, it still holds a solid place in collections thanks to its San Francisco mint mark and the overall charm of the wheat-back design. When you look at your coin, the first detail you'll notice is the small S mint mark placed right below the date 1951. Coins from the San Francisco Mint often have smaller mintages when compared to Philadelphia, which makes them slightly more interesting for collectors who appreciate varieties from different mints. Even though the coin you have is in good condition and shows some scratches, it still carries historical value and collectible importance. Because of its age and design, the wheat ears on the reverse side, even with some wear, still reflect the classic style that collectors love. The wheat penny design ran from 1909 until 1958, and each year of this series is part of an important era of American coinage. Your 1951's coin might show signs of circulation, dirt, and surface marks, but these things are normal for a coin that has been in use for more than 70 years. Collectors understand that not every coin will be in perfect shape, especially common-date wheat pennies like those from the early 1950s. A coin in good condition means the main details are still visible. Lincoln's portrait is clear, and the date and mint mark can be read without difficulty. Scratches do lower the value slightly, but the coin is still appreciated by beginners who want to build sets of wheat pennies from different years and mints. When it comes to today's market value, condition plays the biggest role. A 1951 S wheat penny in circulated condition, like the one you described with some dirt and scratches, normally sells between 5 cents to 15 cents. If the coin were in very fine or extremely fine condition, the value would rise higher. And if it were uncirculated with sharp details and bright color, it could reach a few dollars. But in the condition you described, the realistic value stays on the lower end of the price range because collectors can easily find these coins. However, even though the price is not high, the coin still holds sentimental and historical value. These pennies remind people of the past. Long before modern coins changed in design and composition, another thing collectors look at is whether the coin has strong strike marks, good clarity on Lincoln's beard, and well-defined wheat lines on the reverse. Even though the scratches on your coin reduce these finer details, the coin still tells a powerful story about mid-century America. Millions of these coins passed through hands during the 1950s, a time when the United States economy was growing rapidly after World War II. Today, Collectors enjoy owning coins from this period because they represent an important part of everyday American life.